Sir, may I come in?
Yes, come in.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Take a seat, Akshat.
Thank you, sir.
Akshat Jain.
Yes, sir.
Akshat, give a brief description about yourself.
So my name is Akshat Jain. I am 23 years old. I was born in Jaipur, Rajasthan, from where I've done my high schooling. And I've done my bachelor's in design from IIT Guwahati. And so my interests include fitness, swimming, football. And so this is going to be my second attempt at UPSC and my first interview.
We are going through your detailed application form.
Sir.
And we have come to know that both your parents are already civil servants.
Yes, sir.
They are in the police service or...
So my father is in the police service, my mother is in the revenue service.
She is in the revenue service. So you are going to be second generation civil servant.
Sir.
Civil servants have the perception of being elitist.
Sir.
Why it is so?
So it can be attributed to the colonial legacy of our Indian bureaucracy as well. And sir, because there's this perception amongst the common people that bureaucrats, they tend to serve the interest of the elite sections and of themselves. But I sir, in my opinion, I do not think that can be a blanket statement as such, because a lot of bureaucrats, they have done a lot of positive work for the society. And so that is our intention here as well. So sir, I think that cannot be classified as a blanket statement.
Okay, you must have observed your parents working under different conditions, situations and all that.
Yes, sir.
So what are the ills and evils eating into the vitals of Indian bureaucracy?
So first of all, sir, the corruption in services is a reality. That is something we need to address. So that is definitely there. And sir, other thing is that, sir, sometimes we tend to overlook merit as compared to factors like seniority and other such factors. So that is something also which my parents have also highlighted to me. So I think these two factors are there.
What about nepotism?
Sir, nepotism, sir, in bureaucracy, sir, I have personally no particular opinion on that.
And political affiliation of bureaucrats?
Sir, that is true. So that is one thing we have to address, because sir, many a times a lot of bureaucrats, they have had political affiliation, and this has affected their spirit of service and their non-partisanship. So that is also an issue.
Suppose Akshat,
Sir.
You get into the Indian administrative service.
Sir.
What measures will you take to dispel these feelings among the people of the country or the area where you are working, that you neither believe in corruption, nor in nepotism, nor in casteism, nor you tolerate any inefficiencies? So what measures you will take?
So first of all, to tackle the issue of corruption, what I believe is that we need to make use of the technology. We have to enhance this particular technological interface, because that can eliminate a lot of corrupt practices. And so second, in my opinion, each and every department, it should have an in-house investigation mechanism, so as to keep a supervision on its officers and to ensure that proper working environment is there in all our departments. And so we also have to work on the service citizen interface, so particularly at the grassroots level. For example, sir, in the police service, at the constable level, because these are the sections of officers that are interacting with the public, so we need to adequately train them. And sir, in my opinion also, we need to, like I said, have to periodically train our forces, and especially at the lower levels. So sir, in my opinion, these particular steps are required.
Okay, you are made Secretary Tourism or in your own state, that is Rajasthan.
Sir.
And I happen to visit you, call on you, and you are a good friend of mine, and I want you to take me to Jaipur to see the places. So where all will you take me?
Sir, in Jaipur particularly, sir, I'll take you to the forts and palaces, like the Amer Fort, sir, I'll definitely take you. And sir, I'll also take you to the Jantar Mantar in Jaipur. And sir, apart from that, I'll take you to the Albert Hall Museum. And sir, there are 2-3 more museums in Jaipur. And sir, also religious sites are there. For example, the Birla Mandir is there. And sir, we have certain Jain temples as well. And so the Hawa Mahal, definitely, I'll not forget that as well. And right.
What is the importance of Jantar Mantar?
Sir, Jantar Mantar in Jaipur, sir, sir, specifically in Jaipur or in
Jaipur Jantar Mantar.
Sir, Jantar Mantar is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, sir, first of all. And sir, it is housing the largest stone instrument right now in India, the Jantar Mantar at Jaipur. And sir, obviously it was built by Savai Jai Singh too, who founded Jaipur. And right, sir, so it,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, sir.
Akshat, you have been Creative's head, entrepreneurial development cell.
Right, sir.
Did you take any innovative step?
My role as a creator's head was to design the various posters, the standees, and the video material that was required for different events and festivals conducted by the team. So, sir, my role was actually to lead that particular team of 3-4 designers. We were there. So that was the role, and as such, sir, whenever we used to design all these materials, we used to ensure that there's this blend of professionalism and creativity, because after all, we were designing for a professional and entrepreneurial event. So,
Who is an entrepreneur?
sir, an entrepreneur is someone, sir, in my opinion, is, sir, who actually has a problem to solve, and he is going to do that in the most innovative and capable way, efficient way. So, in my opinion, that is an entrepreneur.
Can you recall the names of some of the important women entrepreneurs right now?
Sir, actually, I'm not able to recall big names as of now, but sir, for example, in our own college, there was a girl named Swati Jain, who, sir, is the founder of Your Dost. It is a company which is doing very well actually, and sir, that is in the field of emotional wellness. So I can, for example, recall that particular name.
Why Chanda Kocher is in news?
So Chandra Kochar, so she is in news because so she was CEO of ICICI Bank, and so she has been involved in a conflict of interest case, whereby it has been alleged that she actually favored her husband and in discharging loans from the ICICI to a company that was working in favor to both of them. So a conflict of interest case basically.
You have studied anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is archaeological anthropology?
Sir, archaeological anthropology is one of the 4 fields of anthropology in which they tend to understand the archaeological history of mankind and relate it with the cultural component. So that is basically archaeological anthropology.
Okay.
Right.
So, do you have any important anthropologists associated with this archaeological anthropology? Working, yes.
Sir, right now or in
Right now?
Sir, right now, sir. Sir, right now I'm not able to recall
Okay.
specifically.
Recall any name?
Sir, for example, sir, in the international front, there have been anthropologists like Julian Stewart, and sir, even in India, we had H.D. Sankalia, who was in charge of the Deccan College, and he was instrumental in a lot of discoveries in India, especially from the Neolithic period. So they have been there, right?
You have referred to Neolithic period.
Yes.
If we try to compare and contrast the cultures of Neolithic period with that of Iron Age,
Sure.
what do you find?
So actually, Neolithic period marked the revolutionary phase in our mankind, in the sense that we began to domesticate animals and we began to have proper agricultural production. Sir, Iron Age actually was actually kind of, you can say, fast track the process, because through iron implements we were able to clear the forest, we were able to clear the land and bring more land under cultivation, as well as increase our agricultural efficiency. So you can actually say that Iron Age has actually fast tracked the process that got started in the Neolithic period.
So what changes we noticed in the field of cultural evolution?
Sir, after the Iron Age? Sir, for example,
From Neolithic to Iron Age.
sir, for example, metal has always been a vital part of our culture. So, sir, iron has actually facilitated the coming up of cultural centers. So, sir, definitely there has been that particular factor.
Can you recall some name of some important cultural centers in India?
Sir, of the Iron Age?
Yes, of the Iron Age.
Yes, sir. So, for example, we have the Eastern Ganga Valley civilization that was there, that flourished in the Iron Age, and sir, other parts like the Ahar Banas region of Rajasthan was also there that flourished in this period.
Any civilization is known as the Eastern Valley civilization. Are you sure?
Sir, the Ganga Valley.
Ganga Valley.
Yes, sir. Right.
Okay.
Akshat.
Sir.
Akshat, you studied B design from IIT Guwahati.
Yes.
It's one of the very important course introduced in IITs. There are a couple of IITs which offer this course.
Yes, sir.
What do you think? What is wrong with our education system that we need separate course for design and innovations? We should actually be having, every course should have been a course of design and innovation. What's wrong with our education system?
Sir, I think that is a very, very correct observation, sir, because design, sir, in general is about problem solving through well-designed creations. And, sir, therefore, every course should have had an inbuilt design component. But, sir, what through this course we have tried to achieve is to give a specific direction for students to actually have that methodology to solve problems. And so the problem in our educational sector, and sir, it has been that it more and more focus has been on the academic component, on the theoretical component about doing well in the examinations. And so design in such is more of practical, how you are able to utilize your knowledge to solve problems. Sir, that has been the issue in our education sector, and
I
that
was
is
looking
why.
at your DAF, you studied from elite schools, both your parents are civil servant. Sir very rightly asked you, it appears that you are coming from a very elite background. But I would like to believe that that is not the case. So, to just allay that fear, can you just tell me recently, day before yesterday, all North India had the huge hailstorm thing.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the current status of crops in our country right now in this area, and what is the impact of these hailstorms on the crops?
हेलो सुनो शॉपसी पर लूट मची हुई है ये कैजुअल
A lot of winter crops are being grown right now. For example,
Are being sown, are being plowed. What is the status right now? We are in February's first week.
right, sir. So wheat which was sown earlier, it is now under the growth stage right now, wheat. And sir, for example, in Uttar Pradesh, sugarcane is also been
Beating around bush, tell me, what is the impact of hailstorm on the crop? What is the status of crop right now? Yes or no? You may say, sir, I don't know.
Sir, I'm not aware.
No problem. You studied anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is the anthropological basis of religion?
Of religion?
Yeah.
So, from an anthropological point of view, there have been two perspectives into this. So, one has been the functional perspective, which says that religion was actually started to fulfill certain functions of our human needs. For example, sir, humans have always feared death, and they have always feared what is unknown to them. So, religion as such allays those fears. Religion.
Wasn't it the function of science?
Sir?
Wasn't it the function of science?
No, sir. Science is different as compared to religion, because science is based on certain empirical evidences. But sir, here when humans, they were not aware of what is happening around them, they began to believe in some certain entities that exist beyond this world. So sir, that is how religion came into being. So religion basically fulfills these basic human needs. It allays our fears of the unknown. So, that
Your
is-
father is an IPS officer. You must be very closely watching what is happening in Kolkata. Can you tell me what exactly is this state police versus the central police conflict, and what CBI draws its power from? We know police is a state subject.
Right, sir. So CBI basically was established under the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, and sir, police is a state subject definitely, but certain states have given their general consent to CBI to investigate cases which happen in their territory. For example, West Bengal is not one of those states that has given that general consent. So what has happened is, sir, the CBI was investigating certain cases in the chit fund scam, and they wanted to investigate the DG, the officer of the West Bengal cadre. So they had been directed by the Supreme Court also to investigate into these cases, and as such, sir, the law of the land, if the constitutional courts allow the CBI, then they have the authority to investigate cases in any territory. So they went to investigate there, and unfortunate incident happened there, and so that is basically the brief background of this.
So what do you think? What provisions in the constitution can be put to force so that such a conflict is avoided?
Sir, provisions of the constitution, sir, I cannot say as such, but sir, we have to have a proper mechanism of coordination between the center and the states, and so that has to be respected. So for example, a proper memorandum of understanding, a proper standard operating procedure has to be there, sir, in my opinion.
You still single?
Yes, sir.
We are in Fab. Propose to this water glass.
So February is the month of the Valentine's Day, and this water is clear. It has a very pure, clear heart, and I know it will quench my thirst and what I'm looking for, love, and therefore, water glass. If you could just be mine, I'll cherish you forever.
Thank you.
Akshat, you belong to Jain community.
Yes, ma'am.
I was observing that in literacy there is 90% of females are literate in Jain community, yet only very few are working.
Right, ma'am.
So what does it show about the culture of Jain community?
Actually, ma'am, this is one problem of Jain community, and ma'am, but this is something that we as Jains we have also recognized, and so ma'am, we can see right now that more and more females are being encouraged by their own family members to go and make use of their education. So ma'am, I think things are improving and we are getting progressive on that front.
Okay, very good. Why does Jain got this minority status after so long? It's only recently they have got this status, while other minorities are recognized as minorities since very long.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, Jain community, most of the Jains belong to the business community, and they have been affluent, and they have also had a very good representation in the economy and polity, and therefore there has been a perception always in the society that Jains, despite their low numbers, they do not need the minority status for their upliftment. So ma'am, that is why it took us so long.
And why did they got it now?
Ma'am, mostly it was based on the numbers because we are only 0.36% of the population, and ma'am, that particular thing is not applicable to all Jains, and there are Jains who have been economically disadvantaged and who deserve the benefits that are provided to the minorities.
Okay, let's take a situation.
Yes, ma'am.
You are SP of a district, and like you must have read in the news, there was a girl who died while fasting.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are SP of that district, and you come across that family of that girl who died after 43 days of fasting, and now it's upon you. To what action will you take?
After her death,
Yes, after her death.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, what I'll do is I'll actually approach the religious leaders of the Jain community, and ma'am, I'll urge them to actually convey this to the younger generation, especially that what are the consequences of these actions. So ma'am, the younger generation, at least till the age of 18, they are not aware of these consequences. So for example, right now also many Jain monks, what they are doing is they first and make them understand these consequences, make them get their education, and then take an informed decision. So ma'am, in my opinion, I'll try to
so what will be your action as an SP where a girl has died, and maybe it might be because of the compulsion of the parents, it might be because of the compulsion of the society. So as an SP, what will be your action?
Ma'am, if there's an element of coercion involved, then I'll definitely look into the statute books and see what all adequate provisions are there. And ma'am, apart from this law and order, I'll also treat this as a part of community policing. So, ma'am, as I said, I'll try to reach to the societal level. And ma'am, police actually works at that level as well. They try to bring a change in the society. So, by organizing workshops, by organizing different type of sammelans, and by reaching out to the religious leaders. So, I think as an SP, I can bring out that particular change.
Okay. So, as a student of anthropology, tell me, there are numerous species in one genus,
Yes, ma'am.
but Homo sapiens is very unique.
Right.
In the genus Homo, there is only one species.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, because the other species, they have actually lost this competition of survival, and they have now become extinct. So right now only we Homo sapiens are there.
So it is said that when Homo sapiens will arrive, the Homo sapiens will also lose the battle.
That remains to be seen. That is something we cannot predict as such. And ma'am, already we are known as Homo sapiens sapiens.
We already are Homo
Yes.
sapiens. Can we add another sapiens to the list?
I cannot answer this.
Okay. So you are a user experience design engineer.
Yes, ma'am.
How will you use your experience for good governance?
Ma'am, can I explain this through a project I did?
Yes.
So, ma'am, there's this goldsmith project which I've also mentioned in my DAF application. So, ma'am, these traditional goldsmiths, they use a cylindrical hollow pipe which is known as bucklas. So, what they do is they redirect the flame onto their ornaments by blowing air through this pipe. So, ma'am, when they are doing so, they actually have to catch their breath in between, and they end up inhaling a lot of smoke. And this is a major occupational hazard amongst the goldsmiths. So, ma'am, after conducting proper on-field research, what we realized was that they were already aware of the problem. They gave a very good reason as to why they continue to do this. They said that they cannot afford the time, and their work involves such a precision that they cannot afford to take out the pipe and then catch their breath outside. So any particular solution for them had to come in without altering their work habits, and by ensuring that their ease of use remains. So ma'am, what we did was we brought in changes from the inside. We introduced 2 flaps and a spring, and now when he was sucking in air, both the flaps they became vertical, and the first flap it blocked the smoke while fresh air entered from outside, and that was inhaled. So ma'am, what I am trying to say here is that when you are a UX designer, the use of proper design methodology, it enables you to understand the user's pain points, his needs, and then give the most simple effective solution. So ma'am, in my opinion, that is how this can be used in administration and governance.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Akshat, so when you innovate a new design, do you get patent or what? Which kind of intellectual property rights you get?
Sir, that depends on the particular design you're doing. So if there's a specific innovation involved which has not been made right now, then you obviously can go for a patent. But sir, it is not necessary that your work involves a patent. It can be a simple solution. It has to, sir, address a particular problem. It has to solve the needs of the people.
What is industrial design in terms of IPR?
So in terms of IPR,
Industrial design rights.
sir, industrial design basically, again, sir, you are solving mainly an engineering problem, and if there's in the perspective of IPR, if you are indulging in an innovation, then so you go for that particular.
Is there any difference between the patent and industrial design?
So patent is a specific part of industrial design, you can say, and industrial design is not just about patents. So, sir,
Okay,
right.
there was a controversy between Apple and Samsung
Sir,
about the design.
right, sir.
Are you aware of that? What was the case in?
Sir, I am not exactly aware of the minute details, but sir, I think Apple alleged that Samsung stole a design feature of the iPhone and they incorporated in their own phones. But sir, I am not able to recall the exact design feature.
What do you think about 3D printing, and which are the areas where 3D printing can be very helpful?
So I think 3D printing is a very, very important innovation, a revolution. And so because we have already seen it is being used in the fields of healthcare, it is being used in the fields of engineering, and sorry, even in advanced fields like biotechnology and nanotechnology, biotechnology. So sir, I think yes, definitely 3D printing is one area which has a huge potential in solving the needs.
In nanotechnology, we use the term assembler and replicator.
Sir,
Are you aware of that?
No, sir, I'm not aware of it.
Even we have gone beyond 3D printing. Nowadays, the news is coming that we have developed 4D printing. What is the concept of 4D printing?
Sir, I've not heard about it.
You know about plastic microbeads
Yes, sir.
and the environmental hazard?
Right, sir.
Can you tell me something about that?
Yes, sir. Sir, these plastic microbeads are generally found in your cosmetic products in general, and sir, the hazard is that these are non-biodegradable. So they often end up in the soil, they often end up in the marine sources like in the oceans, and there they contaminate the environment, and that is they affect the entire ecosystem. So, sir, that is basically the hazard.
Nowadays, the new environmental threat that has emerged is polar vortex.
Sir.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. So I'm aware that because of this, the countries like USA and Canada, they are facing sub-freezing temperatures that has been unprecedented.
It is just reverse of global warming. I mean, even Trump is questioning that where is global warming. So don't you think that, I mean, global warming is a hoax created by the developed country to sell their energy equipments to the developing country?
Sir, in my opinion, sir, this is not the case because sir, global warming is about climate change, and sir, this is a weather phenomena. So, sir, this is a one-time phenomena, and sir, global warming has brought in a long-term change. So, for example, already in the past century, we have since the Industrial Revolution, we have seen that global temperatures, on an average, they have been rising at an unprecedented level. So, we cannot compare this with one particular event that has happened in this particular season. So, I think these are something we cannot compare.
Okay, let's consider a situation. You are a young unmarried guy, and let's say after getting into job, you went for a marriage, and it is ideal marriage, right? But all of a sudden, the girl father, he said that we have already had a pact since childhood of the girl that whenever you get married, I'll gift a car. And the girl's father, want to gift a car to the girl on the very marriage day, I mean, where the wedding is taking place. What will be your take? Will you allow to get this car or not?
Sir, in my opinion, sir, I'll not allow this because, sir, this creates an obligation. It creates an obligation on me. It creates an obligation on my family. And, sir, this is basically, you can say, in an indirect way, a form of dowry as well. So, in my humble opinion, and sir, what I'll say to him is that please keep your car because all I want is your daughter, and that I can myself.
Daughter is also willing to get that.
So daughter is willing to get that, I agree. But sir, what I will say to her is that we don't need that particular car. So we have our own benefits, and therefore we do not need that particular car.
How do you justify this? I mean, this matrimonial alliance is 50-50. Where is gender equality in that? She cannot. I mean, you can take gift from your father, but she cannot take gift from her father. Is it so?
Sir, I'm not saying that she cannot take gifts from her father and she should outrightly refuse it. But sir, on my part, I'll try to convince her that there's no need for that particular car, and it can actually get us into unwanted trouble. For example, if I am a civil servant, specially, so I'll try to reason with her, and then sir, I'll try to convince. So sir, that is what I'll feel.
Akshat,
Sir.
what are your preferences?
Sir, my first preference is the Indian Administrative Service, followed by the Police Service, and then the Foreign Service, and then, sir, the Indian Revenue Service.
Okay. Akshat, you look like a kid.
Sir.
So if you don the uniform of a police officer,
Sir.
people will hardly recognize you as a responsible officer. Don't you think that to deal with such stressful situations which a police officer faces throughout his career, we should have a stress test for civil servants before selecting them to these services like IAS and IPS?
Sir, in my opinion, sir, this is something that gets built on after you get into the services, you understand the entire framework, you train, and then, sir, you deal with situations. So if we begin to take the stress test, as you're saying, before the civil services, then, sir, I think a lot of potential candidates can get lost in this process. Because, sir, right now at this particular stage, for example, in my own case, I have just graduated from college. So I might not be able to pass your stress test right now, but say after 5 years of training, after getting mature, understanding all the processes, maybe then I could pass your test with flying colors. So sir, I don't think that should be the case right now before the...
Okay, your father is an IPS officer.
Sir.
Still you have chosen IS as your first reference. Why?
So what I have seen is that sir, the IAS offers a lot of diversity as compared to the Indian Police Service. So Indian Police Service is mainly revolving around law and order and crime. While sir, Indian Administrative Service, you go into different fields like health, education, agriculture, rural development, and so that is why there's this specific charm of IAS for me.
So one last question, Akshat.
Sir.
Give me 3 reasons why we should not select you.
So I don't think there's any reason you should not select me.
So you can't think of even a single reason why we should not select you.
No, sir, not right now. And sir, if there is any reason I know I can work upon it, I'll definitely work upon it, and I'll do my best to contribute to this service.
Okay, Akshat, thank you very much. Interview is over. You may go now.
Okay, sir.
We go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
ये 3 गलतियां आपकी त्वचा को लगातार नुकसान पहुंचा रही है। पहली, सनस्क्रीन का ना यूज।
So, how was it? What is your assessment?
Sir, I think it was good. So there were certain areas where I lacked, for example, in anthropology, which I felt that through proper revision I could have given better answers. And sir, what was your opinion?
We will give you our opinion also. When is your interview?
So it's on 27th March.
27th March.
Yes.
Lot of time.
lot of time.
Lot of time. Then. You see, Akshat, first your plus points, your positives.
Sir.
You are a young. That itself is a big plus point for you. Yes, it's a big advantage for you. You come from a very good background, family background. That's another good advantage. At times it goes against also, but as far as we understand, it's an advantage to you. It's an advantage to you. You have a pleasing personality.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasing demeanor also. So all those good qualities are there. You look like a child, as you call it, chocolate cream soldier. So you look like that only, and because a lot of time is there, so you work upon certain areas.
Right, sir.
Like the example of goldsmith which you gave.
Sure.
So okay, user design. You try to explain to the board that you have done it through your project.
Right, sir.
But the answer was too long, sir. It was more like a harangue than understanding the subject.
Okay, sir.
So try to make it
More
crisp.
brief. Right, sir.
Absolutely crisp. I did like this and this resulted into this.
Sure.
So if you want to, because basically we could understand that you wanted the board to know that you have done a work on this. So fair enough. But don't make it too long.
Okay, sir.
Too long. Then on certain issues, like she asked you about fasting and all that.
Right, sir.
So you evaded that question. Instead of catching it by forelocks, you try to evade it. You are a police officer. First duty of a police officer is to investigate.
Right.
So to get into the depth of the issue.
Yes, sir.
So that stand you should be.